Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and hi if you're new here, I'm Jade, and I thought it would be fun to have another sort of like discussion type video, and I thought we could talk about some unpopular book opinions. Excuse me while I'm all cuddled up here. I'm not feeling the best today, but I just really, again, could have done with just some light-hearted things. And I thought discussing book opinions, I mean, it's not always light-hearted, but I thought it would be kind of fun. I really, really enjoyed filming last week's video. If you haven't seen it yet, please go back and watch it, because honestly, it's just one of the most fun I've ever done. Like, my TBR jar is my favorite recurring video, for sure, but I actually had more fun doing last week's reacting to 1-star review video. I figured this could have some good points of discussion. So what I've done is I have got a list from a reading blogger who has spoken about her unpopular book opinions, and I'm going to respond to those. So I am going to use the blog of the Artsy Reader Girl and go through her. So I will link that in the description in case you want to go check out her blog. So she has posted her top 10 unpopular book opinions, and I thought we could discuss them. So let's just get into it, and starting off with number 1, it says, "For the most part, bookish social media is not a fun place to be." So that's her sort of first disclaimer about books, the bookish community, etc. I'm not going to read like her more detailed descriptions. You can go ahead and read those on her blog if you would like to. But honestly, I'm going to disagree with this one. Like anywhere on social media, of course, there are always going to be trolls and people that just leave negative comments for no reason. And I do sometimes find it can lack a bit of support. I feel like Instagram, I get loads of bookish people wanting to interact with my posts and support each other. But I do find on YouTube, it's a little lackluster. Like, I have a few people that consistently watch my videos and I watch theirs back, and I think that's lovely. Obviously, I only want people watching if like they're interested in the content. But I do think Instagram is more supportive, I'm not gonna lie. But I haven't had any like issues on YouTube. I really enjoy making my videos. So yeah, I am gonna disagree just because I really like it. I don't find it that toxic. I don't find there's that much drama or arguments. Like, I'm sure there's some, and maybe I just don't see them. I don't know. But for me, I found it a really nice supportive community, and I've really enjoyed getting into it lately because I've always been a reader. I just never really thought about it online. But then I've watched a few booktubers for a few years, and I was like, you know what? I really want to just do it myself because I love talking books. Like, I spend so many hours watching other people's videos. I was like, why not just make some of my own? Also, I am a singer, so I used to post singing videos on YouTube. And honestly, that community is way, 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 way more toxic. So in comparison, the booktube community, the bookish community on Instagram, TikTok, etc. is way, way better. So even if there is drama, I just feel like it's much more minimal than with a lot of other communities, to be honest. Number 2, I don't care about special editions of books. Oh, this is a hard one because technically I don't. In my head I don't, but I sometimes get excited about them. So she does go on to say that it's because she thinks it's a money grab, and I agree, and that's why I don't like them. But to say I don't care about them is not probably right. Because if I'm honest, if there's a deluxe edition and a standard edition that releases, I tend to go for the deluxe edition. And I do quite like my sprayed edges, although I do think they're a little bit too common now. They were like more special. Now like every book seems to release with them. But like if it's a special edition with like new chapters, it's always tempting because I want to read them. But then I'm a bit like that with music. You know, when an artist re-released their album with like an extra 2 or 3 songs, and I'm just like, oh, this is such a money grab. I don't like it. And I am that way with books. So I'd say 95% of the time, I'm not going to go and buy as some kind of re-released special version. However, I do still care because I often feel a bit of FOMO. So I know I care, but I just don't give in. This is a really hard one to answer because I just want to be like, yeah, I don't care about special editions, but I kind of do. And, you know, I am all for authors making extra money, but I do sometimes feel that readers are taken advantage of, especially when they like change the covers halfway through a series and everyone wants them to match and things like that. Like, it is annoying, you know? Number 3, this can kind of relate, I guess. Bonus chapters confuse the original narrative. Oh, again, I just think this depends, okay? Because sometimes you get a bonus chapter, which is the same scene from someone else's perspective, and that's not going to change the story. So I quite like them. I quite like sometimes seeing another character's point of view. But if I relate it to the money grab thing, then I don't really like bonus chapters for that reason, because I don't like that there's certain chapters that only certain people get to read, especially when they're like country specific and only certain countries get that version released. Now I know everyone leaks them online and everyone reads them, but I do think it's a little unfair because like you're missing part of that universe. And obviously usually they're not that important because otherwise they'd be in the main book. So I do kind of enjoy a bonus chapter, but I don't think they're necessary. And I do think they should be made accessible to all. Like I think if you include it on like your website as like a little bonus gift or things like that, I think I prefer it. Number 4, I avoid books where the title is essentially a 4 or 5 word summary of the book's synopsis. For example, Dating My Baby Daddy, Married to My Billionaire Boss, etc. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I have read, I think, a few books with titles like that I probably have enjoyed. I can't think of any offhand, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't know, I always associate them with being like slightly basic and cheesy, and they might not always be, but I think that's the impression those titles give me because they're not obviously very creative. But like I said, I can't think of that many that I have read like that. I'm sure there are some. I probably do tend to avoid them, I'm not gonna lie. So take note, if you're an author, your title does matter, like it does. I wouldn't say I'm particularly fussy in that realm, but yeah, if I read something like, you know, Dating My Baby Daddy, I think I am more likely to avoid it, to be honest. And I just think it's because they do just sort of sound cheesy. I don't know how to describe it, but for me, I'm just like, oh, okay. I guess there's no mystery there either. Like maybe that's why. I don't really know why. I just avoid them. Okay. Number 5, publishers need to stop marketing books as reader likes or super popular world loved titles. Just an example she gives. Just because a book is about Faye doesn't mean it's like ACOTAR. Yes, I kind of agree. Actually on that, I do think there are a lot of books that are likened to others that really are rather different. But then likewise, I've often picked up books and it's like for fans of this, and I just don't really see the correlation. So sometimes they're marketed that way, but it's completely wrong. Other times I can see why it says it, like Faye in both books, or the same trope, I guess. But yeah, a part of me does agree that I think they maybe overdo it on that, where they liken them to other books. But I get it. I mean, I'm not even in marketing, but I can see that it's effective. I can tell that people can go, oh, I really like this. And it says if I like this, I'll like this. And they're gonna just be like, yeah, I'll try it. And I get it, I really do. Actually, a video I've been sort of planning that I wanna do soon, it's gonna be a type of reading vlog, and I guess it kind of links in with this a little bit, not entirely. But I do see that marketing something as being like something else works, because sometimes I will pick something up because of that. But deep down, I do think it's overdone and sometimes labeled wrongly. Number 6, the A blank space of blank space and blank space titles should have stopped 10 years ago. So like A Court of Thorn and Roses would be an example for that, if me saying blank space made your brain go funny and you didn't know what I was talking about. I don't think they ever need to stop. I do think they're a little overdone right now. Like there are a lot like that, there really are. But for me, it's been a much more recent craze in the last couple of years. So I don't think they need to be outright stopped. But I do think sometimes it's nice if you can think of a little bit more of a creative title that doesn't use it, because I mean there's all the memes that go around now and it's like, oh, based on your birthday, insert the word here, and based on, you know, the, I don't know, your age, put it here, whatever, do you know what I mean? And it creates your own title, and they're cool, fun little memes and everything, sure, but it does lean towards like, I swear, like everyone wants to name their book something like that. And I do think they're good titles, I just think they're a little overdone. Number 7, I don't enjoy debating about books with people. Oh, it really depends, doesn't it? I think I enjoy it if I am talking about books and it's a healthy debate where people can be like, oh, see, respectfully, I disagree, and you can have your opinions, and it's kind of like a safe space, like a very mature way of, you know, discussing things, a bit like kind of university analysis over different books, because I did a literature degree. But if people are just going to argue and just be like, you're wrong, and just shut down everything you say and won't even try and see the other side, then yeah, I probably am not interested. I mean, if we go back to last week's 1-star review video, I think I was trying to be quite reasonable and like understand where their 1-star reviews were coming from. And there were certain parts that I was just like, nope, don't agree, of course. I wasn't obviously having a live discussion. It's a bit different. But I still feel like I tried to understand where they were coming from, because to me, like, everyone's opinion's valid and we shouldn't all like the same thing. So I think a healthy debate's good, but like a full-on argument where people just shut people down and won't even say, let's agree to disagree kind of thing, then yeah, I'm not interested. I don't want that kind of debate. It has to be a healthy debate here. Number 8, I love illustrated book covers. Oh, I 100% agree with this one. I am not the biggest fan of like photographs as the front cover, if I'm honest. I just feel like because books are, you know, imaginary things, it's obviously different if it's like a memoir or something. But anything fiction, if it's like a real photograph on the front cover, it kind of pulls out my immersiveness a little bit. I quite like a really good illustrated cover if it's done well. Like if it's very basic and cheesy, I don't necessarily dislike it, but I don't love it. But I think some can be really beautiful if they are done well. And, you know, there are some really stunning illustrated covers out there for sure. Like I just reached for When the Moon Hatched because I remember just thinking, this is beautiful. Now, obviously the shimmeriness of it does add to how nice it looks, but I just think with like the small details of like how the dragon's head's drawn and then like the wispiness, like there's just something stunning about the way this book is designed. And there's plenty of others that I could have picked as an example, but that one was like right behind me, so I just grabbed it. But I do agree. I think I prefer an illustrated cover. I also like the fact that it gives, you know, illustrators a real purpose, because obviously you get illustrators of books, like picture books for kids, etc. But I think the cover art of a book is really important, and I love that, you know, certain illustrators get to really work on these things. Now, I know a lot of it these days are probably really computerized, but I think if you can give like an illustrator a really good chance, I don't know, I quite like it. I mean, I love art. I am terrible at drawing. I wish I was good at drawing. When I was younger, I wanted to be an art teacher, and then I was told I couldn't draw, so I had to change my plan. But it's all good. I'm a singing teacher. It's still fun. But yeah, just ultimately, I do love a good illustrated cover. Number 9, my books and bookshelves are not decorations. Oh, this is hard. I feel like I organize them quite nicely in general, but there are sections where it's just a bit more random because I just feel like it's really difficult to organize them, and I'm also not the best at decorating. This one behind me definitely looks way better than my one over there, and I do like having the odd little bit of decor on the shelves, but ultimately I'm not that bothered. And if people don't like it or like the way I've done my shelves, I don't really care. And there are definitely shelves where, you know, the heights are all wrong. Like I'm never going to be that pedantic because I just feel like you can never get that perfect. Like if I want to do color, order, you know, like order by color, or if I order by height, like there's always going to be something throwing it off. And I have a bit over there which is almost colored, but it's not like strictly done, because I was like, I will get frustrated if it doesn't quite work. And it does make the heights a little bit weird. And there is a part of me that's like, I wish some of these books weren't as tall. But at the end of the day, I can't change what they look like, and I'm not bothered enough to like reconstruct my whole design, because honestly for me, if I start talking about that kind of thing, I get too OCD with it and then I can't do it and then I get frustrated. So my bookshelves are kind of decorations, so I guess I disagree, but at the same time, they're for me only, and I don't care what other people think about it. And if I'm honest, if I look at other people's, I'll often be like, oh, they look really nice, the aesthetic's really nice. But if I go in someone's house and they're all just a messy array of books, I still enjoy looking through them just as much. So yeah, I just love books more than the decoration, you know, that's not that important. We're now on her last opinion, which is number 10, which is romance is different than steam. I just wanted to check what she meant on this one. And she basically means like throwing spice in for the sake of it is not worth it, is what it boils down to. And I gotta say, I agree on this one. I totally agree on this one. I have no problem with spice in books when I read it. I actually can quite enjoy a spicy scene, but I hate it being overdone. I hate it if it just feels like it's been thrown in there so that the book can say it's spicy, because I do feel that now. I don't know if it's like publishers encouraging it, because a lot of spicy books are popular, which is fair. So I don't know if they're like, oh, you need to include some spice, because I just feel like some of the authors I read, it doesn't feel like they're natural calling. Whereas like the story I can love, but then that scene, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I felt nothing. I just felt like it was just thrown in the book. And that, I don't want it. I'd rather not have it if it doesn't really feel that authentic. And generally for me to enjoy a spicy scene, I need to feel that chemistry between the characters. I usually prefer a slow burn romance where I really feel their connection before they get steamy. However, there are times where that kind of like initial random hookup does somehow appeal to me, because I would say typically they don't, but sometimes how they're written, you can really feel that attraction somehow and kind of see where it came from, I guess. But I don't like it when it's just thrown in there to be in there. I feel like it has to still work with the wider premise of the story. Like a really random one night stand that isn't going to lead to anything else in the story, I'm probably not as interested. And I do 100% think that steamy and romance is separate, because I love a lot of closed door romance novels. I don't think it needs to be in there for me to feel the yearning, the love, whatever. Like, I can still get very, very, very strong emotions without needing to see the sex. So I guess ultimately I agree. I think they're different. I don't have anything against spicy books. I quite enjoy a lot of them, but I definitely don't think it's needed. And I think if your book is being carried by spiciness, and that's like its main appeal, then you've really failed. Like, I feel like the spiciness has to be an addition to a great story. So yeah, that is me discussing all of the artsy reader girls' unpopular book opinions. I feel like I agreed with most of them. Obviously there's a few little differences, but I think for the most part I agreed. So if you've got this far, please subscribe, comment, whatever. If you don't know what to comment, then let me know an unpopular book opinion of yours, or whether there's any of these that you particularly agree or disagree with, like if there's any you feel strongly about. But I hope you've enjoyed this little sort of discussion video. It's been a bit more of a discussion month. I'm pretty sure it will be my TBR jar that's due next time that I'm filming. So looking forward to that, because I always love doing those. But anyway, I will see you again real soon. Bye.